I give the floor to the Syrian Arab Republic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am pleased to see you chair this session. And at the outset, I would like to refer to the issue of the delay in the issuance of the documentation, which is quite frequent, and this does not help the delegations to prepare well for the work of the committee. Now, I would like to extend my thanks to Mr. Chandra Ramathan for introducing the report of the SG that includes the budget for UNDOF for the period 2014-2015, contained in document A/68/725. I would like to thank Mr. Carlos Luis Monsieur, the chairman of the Administrative Committee of the ACBQ, for introducing the ACBQ's report contained in document A/68/782/add6. Mr. Chairman, UNDOF was established 40 years ago by virtue of Security Council Resolution 350 of 1974 to separate the Syrian forces and the Israeli occupation forces in the occupied Syrian Golan following the 1973 war. And the establishment of this force and the continued deployment of this force is due to the Israeli occupation of the Syrian Golan since 1976 and continues defiance of the international legitimacy resolutions by the GA and the Security Council that requires Israel to withdraw until the 4th of June line of 1967. And since the reason for this, the deployment of this force, is the continued Israeli occupation, then we reiterate once again that funding UNDOF should be borne by the occupying Israeli party that refuses to withdraw from our occupied lands. Mr. Chairman, the deterioration of the security situation on the Bravo side is due to the acts perpetrated by the armed terrorist groups that have attacked the infrastructure and facilities all over Syria, including UNDOF facilities. The support provided by Israel to the terrorist groups in the area of separation in the occupied Syrian Golan means that the Israeli occupation is part of the acts of aggression against UNDOF. Also, this is a flagrant violation of the Agreement of the Separation of Forces of 1974 and UNDOF's mandate and international law, as well as the resolutions of the Security Council. Israel has even established a field hospital near the separation line, and the Prime Minister of Israel has visited the injured terrorists that are being treated in Israeli hospitals so that they would be sent back to the area of separation in the occupied Syrian Golan so that they continue undertaking their terrorist activities. Such Israeli support for the terrorists endangers the life of the personnel of the UN and undermines the work of UN forces in such area. Mr. Chairman, Israel has not just provided logistical support to terrorists, but it interfered with direct military forces in more than one instance, including the bombardment 2 months ago of a school and a mosque in Hamidiyya village near the line of separation, which is a flagrant violation of international law, which clearly indicates that there is coordination between the Israeli occupation forces and the terrorist groups in the area of separation. Mr. Chairman, Syria has welcomed UNDOF since its establishment and provided all the needed support to the force. And Syria, since the establishment of the UNDOF, continued to respect the agreement of the separation of forces as an interim phase, awaiting the implementation of Resolution 242 and Resolution 338, and ending the Israeli occupation of the Syrian Golan. My country looks forward to comprehensive and just peace in the region And this would happen via the implementation of all relevant UN resolutions and withdrawal from the Syrian Julan until the line of the 4th of June 1967. In conclusion, Syria appreciates the noble mission of international and local and military staff in UNDOF, and we do commend the cooperation between UNDOF and relevant entities in the Syrian Arab Republic, and we assert that we are satisfied with the current cooperation between the permanent mission of Syria and the financial controller in New York, and we also would like to commend all the countries that are contributing troops to UNDOF, and thank you.
Le agradezco por su intervención.
Thank you very much for your statement. The next on my list is the delegation of Israel. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the outset, I wish to express Israel's appreciation and support for all United Nations peacekeeping forces. We offer our gratitude to the troop contributing countries, the commanders, and all those who support the important work of the diverse peacekeeping operations. Mr. Chairman, earlier this session, Undersecretary General of the Department of Management gave an important presentation on the financial situation of the United Nations. In that presentation, he highlighted the 26 countries that have paid all assessments as of May 2014. The only country from the Middle East to be included in that elite group is Israel. Israel's political and financial contributions represent our continuing commitment to the operations, goals, and values of peacekeeping operations. We are proud to have a good relationship and long-standing cooperation with peacekeeping forces in our region. Mr. Chairman, the Syrian delegate has hijacked the session to make baseless claims against my country, rather than address the topic of this meeting. The Syrian government seems to think that it can distract attention from its brutal and horrific crimes by trampling on the democratic process in this committee, in the same way that it tramples on the freedom of its own people. Mr. Chairman, my delegation looks forward to a fruitful and constructive dialogue on these important subjects, and I thank you.
I thank you for your statement. The Syrian Arab Republic has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for giving me the right of reply. The representative of Israel talked a while ago trying to polish the reputation of Israel in this session, and he said that it is the only country that paid its assessment. I would like to reiterate here that Israel needs to incur the total funding of UNDOF and not just the assessments as per the scale of assessment. They are the occupying force and they need to fund UNDOF fully. And the representative of Israel tried to distort facts and to speak lies, and he claims that he represents the forces that love peace and have good relations with the UN. I'd like to remind him that he represents occupying forces that have committed the worst kinds of atrocities in killing against the Arab people in Palestine, Syria, and Lebanon. And they have violated the human rights to the extent that gives us goosebumps. And the UN, since its establishment, has been documenting this, including killing populations and Judaization of territories and segregation of sacred and holy sites, Islamic and also Christian. He tried to distract attention from the practices of the Israeli forces and their participation in the acts of aggression against UNDOF through providing support to the terrorist groups working in the Syrian occupied Julan. And he also tried to distract attention with a view to, or in an attempt to conceal the black record of Israel and its violation of all UN resolutions. I would like to remind him that Julan is a Syrian land that is occupied, and it is the right of the Syrian people, and that the Syrian the occupied Syrian Julan is subject of many resolutions that are issued and adopted on an annual basis, calling upon Israel to withdraw until the 4th of June line and to stop violations of IHL and ending Israeli settlement policy. And I would like to warn him again from any attempts to interfere in the internal affairs of Syria or tell lies and trying to distort facts. And thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
I thank you for your statement. Is there any other delegation at this